Hey guys, so I recently backtested JJ Simmons Fair Value strategy for 2 full months across 40 trades. The final result sounds like a dream, 37% return with a 54% win rate, but getting to that number was a complete roller coaster. April was a brutal, basically flat month that left me barely below break even. But then I tested May. The market seemed to flip and the strategy was on a rocket ship. The same exact approach became way more profitable. Even with a respectable 37% gain on paper, I'm still not fully convinced of the system's long-term viability. Today, I'm breaking down the raw trade logs candle by candle and showing you how I got to my numbers. There's no fast forwarding or retrospective look at 100 trades that were supposedly taken. You're going to see every one of the 40 trades I took. And hopefully you'll see why I'm choosing to forward test the strategy into June. Let's jump into the chart. All right, so we are going to start back test for JJ Simmons strategy here. You can see we're starting with April 1st of 2026. We're going to go all the way till the end of May, so 2 full months of activity. I'll leave a link in the description for his strategy that inspired this backtest, and we'll go from there. And I'll talk through the adjustments that I made that fit my style of trading that he doesn't necessarily get into. He admittedly is a little vague on his stop loss strategy, or at least it requires a lot of real-time calculations. And with price moving the way it does, it didn't work out for me. So I'll show you what I've done to compensate when we get there. But as you can see, I've marked out the fair value as he describes, which is that 929 candle. He typically just does the body, but I'm just going to do the whole candle. As I found in offline tests that sometimes I'll just miss the body by a wick and it'll come back on me or something like this. And so that to avoid that, I'm doing this. So let's start the back test and I'll talk through the rest of the nuances here. We'll advance forward, we get that continuation. I'm looking for, in this case now, some type of low to be created that would enable me to take it short. Price eventually does come back to fair value without giving me an opportunity. So that's one touch. And that's the second here. I'm not seeing much opportunity quite there. Now there is a high created right there, but even if this high were to be taken, it doesn't give you much space to play with in terms of setting up a trade. So the fact that price is going lower is good. That is a high right there. Let's zoom in here. So we're going to do it like this. We have a high right there that does get taken. So what I do is I'll actually set my trade entry to the top of that wick that got taken, set my take profit to the bottom end, in this case of the fair value zone, and then adjust my stop loss to be 1.5, which is what he kind of communicates. Now, obviously this doesn't cover the lows here, but I think that is what it is with his strategy. The logic is that price would quickly kind of move towards take profit here. But my risk $100, which is more than 2% of my initial balance, which is 2,500, which is the basic drawdown afforded to you by the Apex prop firm account, which is what I primarily use. And so I need to be within that range now. I can't control for trailing drawdowns and things like this, but it is what it is. Best I can do. So let's play it out. The trade is on now for no more than $100, in this case, $94. And we have a 1.5 R trade set up, which will be standard. Let's see what happens. Okay, now the trade is on. You get tagged in and immediately go to take profit. So a good start to the strategy here. Anyway, we're going to avoid this 10 o'clock news that was going to come through. I'm basically going to take this as a win and just advance to the next day. With the 9 candles right here. The hardest part for me in forward testing this strategy has been tracking price action. So I'm work full time. I'm not a full-time trader yet. And so it's hard for me to kind of track the candles like this in real time. Of course, in backtesting, it's super easy. Now we do have a high here, but it's frankly not going to give you much space to play with. So I'm hoping price will go lower and give me some type of high to play with. We do return to fair value, which is something about his strategy there. Now we're exploring the top side. Let's see if I can get a low to break. There is a low there, but again, not much space to play with. There's a better low right here. It's not the best, but let's see what we can do. Now we do have another low here, and I choose to ignore that, going with the original low to play with. Now another low gets created here. Now I will play that because it gives me more space to play with, frankly. And there we get the break. So a short would be at the inflection point of this low. See that there? Now I just adjust my numbers here. So 1.5 bouts. And we get down in that scenario. Now I do have a 2 trade per day rule. So we have a new low that's created here. Let's see if we can break that at all. Now, the development of new lows here is something to watch out for. There's one right there. Now, and of course, we do stop at 11. So that's something else to watch out. There's a new low right there. Looks like price might want to move away from us here. That's the new low. But at this point, I wouldn't expect price to come all the way back at this point. Sake of completeness, will carry it out. Assuming we get a break up this candle before 11, we do at 10:48. So I'll be honest, in real time, I probably wouldn't take this trade, but for the sake of the exercise, let's assume we would. So our take profit is all the way down here, or 0.5 of the bouts. Actually, it's too far beyond my limits. It wouldn't even trigger another thing. In this case, I have found that I'll adjust my entry so that I can get within my risk allotment. Like I said, I'm probably not going to take this because in the real world, I wouldn't take a trade this late in the day, so close to 11 o'clock. So we're just going to move on, right? A lot of the loss that we did get. Here we go. So we didn't give me a 948, all right. Okay, so here we are. It's Monday. We'll work out the full 929 candle. Jumping around our fair value. Still haven't really continued to come back to it. Now there's a low that we could target, potentially play with. Let's see what happens. We get another low here. I like that better. We get another low, which is this initial one right here. It looks like some used past, so we just got some washout. Now there's the break. Now in this case, if price reaches the fair value before I get to it, get tagged in, then I would just take the trade off. But let's see what happens. And there you go. Price does touch, so I wouldn't keep this on for purposes of risk trade. Just good. We probably would stop that right there. Now let's see if I can get a second attempt or entry here. There's your low. There's one here, and then there's another one here. Let's see if we can get a move on it. Another low opens up, and it's these lows that I have a hard time tracking in real time because I can set an alert here, but there's nothing telling me that a new low has been created. It's the part that's challenging with this strategy. All right, so we finally get the break underneath it right there. So we're going to set for take profit right there. We'll move all the way back up from 1.5. So we get tagged in with an aggressive down. At this point, I would move my stops to break even, meaning I've accomplished half of the space here, so I do tend to move my stops to break even at that point. And we're going to go the whole way. We're not going to close any trades out of Wagner since we're profit. Let's speed this up for us. So we're going to get out of break even here. Yep. Okay, start the break even trade. Okay. We do have a high here. It's hiding right there. We have a new high. It's been created right there. And there we go. That's our break above. So we're going to use the inflection point. Move our take profit to the bottom end of the fair value zone instead of 5-hour trade. It's a stop loss. 29. Trying, but I haven't created any rows that I can see here. There's one. Yeah, we break it, but we move all the way back to our fair value area, so that doesn't count. The other looks like we're going to get an opportunity unless it wants to come the other way. Now we do have a high here that we can target. Another one. Now, since new lows have been created, I'm going to move my entry to not 11 a.m., so no entries on this day. So technically is a low here because it looked like we would have been tagged in anyways. So we put it on just in case. This hasn't reached the fair value yet. Seems to be fair value zone, let's call it. Put the trade on in case we get lucky. Oh, we get tagged in. Yeah, it looks like we get tagged out. Let's see if we get an opportunity. If we do, there's a low right there. It's another one and another one. So we're going to, okay. So this low gets taken. So we're going to place our entry there. Stops. Right there. Here we get tagged in. And the price moves in our favor, but just doesn't quite touch it. You'll be surprised how many times this happens. Price like just comes to take profit and then pulls back. Did it twice there. Hopefully it's building liquidity there. I don't know. this is faithful, and then finally we do get the touch. So that's a win right there. On stay. We'll move forward. The next. There is a simplicity to his strategy, which is attractive. There's a high that gets taken. So it's this high in that he doesn't look at volume or anything really. It's just this kind of price action analysis. This is a better setup. I like having a little distance, a stop loss. In this case, it didn't matter. Let's see if there's a second entry here though. It would be this high right here. Anyone gets created around right there. Looks like we have news coming up. Let's see. So here we'll wind back. We have news coming up here. It is sentiment reporting, which tends to have an action. I wouldn't trade through it. I would just wait for another high to get taken, just like this one. Look and then play off that. So we have our entry here at the inflection. Take profit there. Just about there. Okay, we get tagged in. And that's about 50. About 50 minutes, so I would move my stop to break even. Get taken out of break even. Fine. I'll bring it around fair price. Haven't created any loans here yet. We did just there. Let's see if we can get a break under that. Another low right here. Let's say it's a candle close right there, quite yet. That's a candle close. So this low was taken by this big candle here. So we're going to track it. We are just, it's 11. Oh, this is 11 o'clock. So I wouldn't take this. Just go to the next day. Fortunately, the rules say that you want to be out of, you don't want to be entering trade at 11. So that's the rule that I had here to here. To this. Price extends. Creates a low. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm meeting now. We didn't take it yet. And there we take it. It's the low that we took. So our shorts start there. 1.5 is here. He stops on our little arbitrary, which is one thing I don't like necessarily, but we'll test it out. We get tagged in. Tagged out. I do know that, he does this strategy on MNQ. Now I use MYM. Curious to see if it works on MYM, which is why I'm doing this backtest. If you guys are interested in my backtest for MNQ, then let me know in the comments. I can easily do that for you guys. There's our high created. There's a new high created and a tape of it. So it's the high there. I don't know if that's a true tape or we'll wait to see some more conviction. Good thing you did because you would have been stopped out. That is a better take, I think, even though it's not great. Stop. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised that April is shaking out this way. The one-off examples I did for myself, just offline, worked pretty well. I have been forward testing this, so it's exciting to see this in backtest, but that's why we do this. Here's a high. There's a high that I get forgotten. Tease it. There's another high that's being created. Didn't quite get taken. And this one looks just to want to go south. I doubt it's going to make its way all the way back up to fair value. We do get a take of this high here, so just quite a strategy. We test it out here, even though momentum seems to be well into the downside. Tagged in. And then price is moving in our favor. I'm going to move us to break even at this point. Then we get take profit actually. So that worked out. Go to the next day. Return to their price. There's a high created, a low created, excuse me. There's another one. And another. And another. And at this point, we're too close to 11 for my taste, so we're going to go to the next day. There's a low created, but it's going to give me enough space. There's another low created right here. And that gets taken by this candle right there. So the short is on. It's big. The move up or stop right there. Now this is pretty tight. Okay, so our entry is on here for 1.5. We're in and out. Let's see if we get another entry opportunity. Take this off for now. Okay, so here's our take of this candle low. We tagged in before we get tagged out. All right, so we're about close to wrapping up April. We just finished the 2 months. And then loading on May. I won't go over all the results until we completed everything. Just went straight to the fair price. Maybe you can get to it on the top side. There's a low. It's been created. There's another one. Oh, actually, that's not a low, since that wick does come higher to it. That is a take of this low. Check that out. 5. It's out. Wait the next day. We hover around the fair price for a while. Return to it. This keeps coming back, but create a low there, okay. So we have this low here. That gets taken. It's going to be very tight. Let's see what happens. Then we return back to fair price before tagging us in. So, yeah. Given it's 10:30, I'm ready to move on to the next day now. Cover around fair price. And we do get a low, and that is a break. So we're line backward candle. Since this stock doesn't cover this candle, I don't take it. It has to cover at least the candle. So this is, in other words, too tight of a area to take a trade on. And it would have gone, but with levels, I wouldn't do it. See if we can get another opportunity. Price scales away. There is a low to beat. It's just before 10:30 when this low gets taken. So let's see if we can get in. This will give us a very wide stop loss, which might help us. So we go into drawdown. Now we're back in it. And there we go. So we do get take profit there on this one. Next day. There's a high. It's a new high. That didn't get taken. Was it get taken? It didn't get taken. These wicks don't count. They actually show me that it could be serving in some type of resistance. That's a lot of wicks there. So if we get a break, yeah. So there you go. There's your break. Yeah, gives me a lot of confidence in this trade. Hope it price can come back to retest this level that was clearly identified as some type of resistance. We get tagged in. Price just hovers in that area. We're kind of still 11:30. Oh, and then we jump up right away. So we do get take profit on this one. Looks like, don't know, this wick for it to be news. I'm not quite sure what that could have been. There's a low created that gets taken. So we're looking at this low that got taken. Place my entry on that point. A little tight. Well, let's see what happens. Price goes without getting us. And so we'll take that trade off. We'll see another opportunity finds us just like that one. So we take this low right there. Almost the same trade right beneath. I'm just taking this. It tagged in. It doesn't look like this. One second. Okay, so we set our trade here. It tagged in. And we're going to take profit. All right, just a few more days left in April here, so let's wrap this up. Let's see if we can get back to break even per month. We were down pretty heavy before. Hovering around fair price, we'll finally extend away. There's a high there. High right here. Zooming. Nice. Moves away from that. We have another high there. Hopefully you can see that does get taken. So the inflection plays right there. Top to bottom. We'll set this at water. Here we get tagged in. This is away initially, not to my break even level. I kind of hovering around our entry. That is about my break even marker. So I'll take that. And we are falling towards take profit, but haven't reached it yet, which is frustrating. And we come back all the way to break. So this is what I was talking about. This happens a lot where price will just about reach, but not quite yet. All right. Almost complete here with April. We have a high there. Let's see if we break it. Another high. Having another high that does get broken. So we're looking at this high down here. This is going to be a massive setup though. I mean, so I went one candle too far here, so we're going to line back. Okay, so I'm going to set it up right there. Smart enough. Both bet that's our break-even point. And we are out at break-even. So last day of the month here, 30th. I can handle. We have a loan that we can take right here. Let's see if it happens. It does. Looks like it's moving pretty aggressively, so I'm not sure if we're going to get tagged in on this, but we'll try. It is on. You do come back to tag in, and we get stopped in. So that is people done. We are currently at a loss for the month, and we'll move on to May. Right, new day and new month. As you can see, we are now at May 1st of this year. So most recent price action, I've gone ahead and marked out the 929 candle here, and we'll see how things go. We get the immediate move after the open, looking for a high. We returned to fair price, so but didn't give us a chance. There's a high right there. I'll zoom in as we go here. Where's your high? If we can take it, there's a new high, but that got taken. So this is a new high here that got taken. So again, my approach here is to take the inflection point, the point where this high was taken, target the high, and then adjust my stop to be 1.5. The reason I'm doing this again is because in real time, it's really hard to catch this entry or the candle close while maintaining a 1.5 or if there's an easy way that anybody knows it, let me know. But for now, this is the best I can do. So I also work full time, so I don't have every minute, every second to look at the chart. But in any case, this is how we did April, so we'll keep it consistent. For May, we hit take profit thing here. So that is good news. That brings us back into profit, albeit slightly, for May. Let's keep it going. Candle away. There's no high yet. That's a high right there. A new high created. Yeah, that gets taken. So again, this is the high we were targeting. Hopefully you guys are tracking on that. And I will mark it up all the time here, just given time here. But we set our trade to 1.5 or about 1.5, let's call it. we get tagged in slightly, and we go to profit. So we're 2 for 2 for May. April wasn't that great a month, but let's just see how the rest of May goes. Way high there. There's news coming at 10, a bunch of news here. So that could create another volatile that would create a new fair price level. Let's just see how we go here. So this high, what we're looking at, it does break here. So we would, the bearish candles, well, there's your bullet candle. I'll take that. Our shade here. If we have news coming up, we'll see what happens. We get tagged in immediately. And I think we can take profit. Keep us moving along. Again. There's your high, excuse me, there's your low right now. Doesn't give me much space to play with, because if I was to target this inflection point, the distance to stop loss is very small. As you can see here, in reality, I probably wouldn't take this, but maybe I would. So let's take trade on 0.5. We get tagged in. But I don't know how that tracked it. They go back. It tracks it as a stop loss, so $100. So that should count as a stop loss because of the earnings around it. But another reason to not maybe follow it when it's so tight. Fairly large 129 candle here. We extend beyond, but return back. There's right there, and that's high broken. So this was the high point. Set our long entry at that point. Keep profits at the bottom of the box, and our movements to 11. This is also pretty tight, frankly, but keep it consistent here for the purposes of the trade. This is how it works in our favor. We do hit take profit in one candle. So that is a winner. Keep going. You have a high there. We have another high. We have a couple. It's a wick. So in fact, it's actually this high that I'm looking at that gets broken. We set our entry there. Take profit to the bottom of the box. I'll extend this until on that 1.5. Up there. Get tagged in. Stop loss. Let's move on to the next day. Use a high created and taken. So our entry is at the top of that buy and create our big profit is there. To be pretty tight here with a stop loss. See what happens. Let's say we get taken straight to take profit, so that candle immediately goes. We avoid this news that also is coming up, so that's good. Yeah, keep it going. You'll notice that I'm taking one trade a day. If I lose, I just move on today. I think it just makes things a lot easier. I think JJ talks about the model how exhausting itself. If it's gone, prices return to fair price multiple times, and you can't rely on it to do that consistently. High there, moving away from fair price aggressively. That is a high that's taken, so this will be very interesting. It's better than taken, but still beats our rules. So what we're doing is we're setting entry there. Take profit all the way up here. Now, this is a situation where JJ himself would not set up his trade this way. He has 25 to 35 kind of approach that he does, which honestly, real time is really hard to manage and do the math and still make the entry. So that's why I do it this way. I think it's a little bit easier for me to manage in real time. In any case, we're in. Once we're at 50%, I go to break even. Just hovering around this entry level here. That's 50%, so I move myself to break even. And we can take profit. It ends up going all the way back to the fair price, which is the whole thesis, right? The idea is that price will want to return to this level. So we're seeing that play out in May here. To the next day, we're up to 13th now. We have a high, another high. This high gets taken. I try that happens here. Can tab in there. Hey, profit. See it there. And then just keep moving. I'm going to try and make this a lot faster than April ones for everybody's sake. And then we'll review the data. So stick around for the data right after I finish May here. We get a heavy manipulation out. We don't have a high yet. There's our first high that's been created. There's another one. There's another one. So these highs can get created. This is another difficult part about the strategy, that you have to really track the charts to a degree. I haven't found an indicator that will tell me when such a high or low is created. If you know of something, let me know. But otherwise, I'm left at the mercy of just tracking the candles during this opening period. Okay, there's your 1.5. We get tagged in. So I get stop loss. Okay, next day. Okay, so we're halfway through May now. There's a high. There's another high. There's another high that gets taken. So I'm actually just, you can look at either one. I look at that one. This high ends got taken by that candle, that big bullish candle right there. Step my entry at the top of the candle. Taken. And so on. So get just tagged in there and go to take profit. Right? I'll be honest, I've been forward testing this on my charts lately for the month of June, and spoiler is that it hasn't been going great. I haven't had any wins yet, but maybe it's just 1 month here. I don't know. See? It's moved too fast for me to take advantage. So in return, maybe we can get an action on the other side. There's a low. There's another one that gets taken. So just rewind back one candle. Bounce. What do you have? Okay, we tagged in. And actually, we went to 50%, so I would have been at break even. And we had to take it out at break even. Let's go to the next steady. There's a high. I don't get taken quite yet. But done there. So this is the high. Yeah, you tagged in. Yeah, take profit. So these tighter ones seem to be working, something to maybe tag and test later versus the long ones, although we just saw one work pretty well for us earlier. This moves away aggressively. We go high there, and it gets taken immediately. Some worse views there. It's coming back, does not snag us near 10% now. Moves away from us and immediately goes to take profit. So this one was a roller coaster. If this price had gone all the way to the fair price, then I would have taken the trade off. The fact that it doesn't suggests that maybe there's still room to play. We aggressively come into our stop loss drawdown, but then immediately shoot back up. So that worked in our favor. Easily could have gone the other way, but it is what it is. And there's a high right there. It's another one. And we get that taken. So this was the original high on looking for. Now, which high you want to prioritize might be a personal choice. I'm doing it in a way that makes sense for me. We get tagged in here and go to take profit again. The charm of this strategy for me is that it's so simple. You just kind of mark out a region and just wait for price to kind of come back. He's not analyzing volume or anything really. And in a lot of ways that simplifies things. So long as it's profitable, which is what I'm trying to figure out. This candle closes pretty much on that candle high, but that will convince me there. You can entry here. Get tagged in. You can take profit. Monday the 25th. So the Monday the 25th was Memorial Day, of course. I don't trade on bank holidays, things like this. So I'm going to skip that day. We're going to go straight to Tuesday, which takes us here. Very large, right playing on candle. There's a high there, but it's very tight. We return back to fair price. We kind of chop around in there. We move away. There is a high that I can work with. It does get taken. So just to zoom in here. This is the high. We just barely take it. Love that entry, but see what happens. 1.5 is right around here. You get tagged in. And we're at 50%. So I would definitely move my stops to break even at this point. And we get stop out at break even, which is good because it would have gone against us. So my break even rule saves me once again. Okay. Use a high there that gets broken, but we immediately go back to fair price. So there's no trade there. Here we go again. Maybe we can get a break below this original low. That could give me enough space to play with. There's another low right here. Okay. So here's a low that got taken. It's around 10.24. We know that we don't take any trades after 11. This one's a little far away for my taste, but let's see what happens. Let's set this to 1.5. We get tagged in. There, we're hovering around entry. It's about 50% reached at the lowest point there, I would say. So certainly at this point, we're at break even. It's really testing our patience here now. So we'll jump to the 5-minute to help speed this up for us. So this was an interesting because my put firm requires all trades to be closed by 4 p.m. So this goes till 4. We have to close it. Let's see, 4 p.m. is right here. It's 4 p.m. So I'm just going to close the trade at this point for a minor profit. That usually doesn't happen, so that's very surprising to see for us to be in a trade for that long on the strategy. Okay. Price moves away, but curves back. Not enough space to take a trade here with any of these events. And this one is way too close. Then we get some news coming in, which creates another fair price, which we'll acknowledge right here. There's a low we can work with. Now it does. It's 10:30. It's a little close to our time, but let's see what happens. Now, this is the new fair price that was initiated by that impulsive move, presumably by some news there. So I'm going to take it on. We get tagged in just before 11, so this follows our rules enough to track. It's probably going to come back on us, maybe. Yeah, so we get to stop down here. And this would be the last day of the bond here. So let's finish this out. A lot of aggressive movement. There's a low. There's another low that does get taken. So this low here, right here, gets taken by the second candle. So it's some stop at that inflection point. Isn't it blurred enough? And we get tagged. This would have been 50% here. This candle wick right here would have been 50%. So I'm going to stop the break even, or I think that's where it wraps up. Yep. But let's see if that saved us or not. Yes, it would have been stopped down over. Oh, not yet. We'll just see. Yeah, definitely stopped down. So break even will help us in this case again. All right. So that is May wrapped up. Let's go to the results and see how this strategy tracks across 2 months. All right. So here we are. We covered 2 months. The 2 most recent complete months of 2026, April and May. And it's really a tale of 2 months, frankly. So you can see the high level numbers here, 37.6% net P&L after 2 months. Of course, very respectable. A trade win of 54% when considering a 1.5 risk to reward. That's what you want, at least something at 50% or above. Healthy profit factor. I think this chart is really telling. April was not a great month, ended pretty much at break even. You can see we're -4 for the month after 20 trades. We found ourselves 20 trades in May, but a completely different story where we were able to take it to 42%. Now if I had my $2,500 starting balance, that would mean that I would have $941 to my credit by the end of these 2 months. So not nearly the 3,000 that I would need in order to turn a live account stable or to pass a prop firm account evaluation account. So but it's a start. And frankly, 2 months probably isn't enough to make a decision on if this strategy is worth it, which is why I'm probably going to continue doing this on my own. If you'd like to see what that exercise looks like, maybe I'll start from January, do the first quarter to see what the first 5 months would look like. If that's something you'd like to see, then let me know in the comments and I can take that video and share it here with you guys. But for me, I'm going to continue into June. I'm going to forward test the strategy into June to see what it does. Like I said, it's not tracking well for me right now, but maybe that's kind of what happened in April, and the following months are more beneficial. Really comes down to sticking with it over a long sample set. 40 trades is definitely not a adequate sample set to make a hard decision. I think there's something here to maybe look into, and that's what I'll explore. But hopefully this live backtest with me during a trade by trade really helped you. If it did, and this resonates with you in your journey, then subscribe. And if you'd like to see another trade breakdown video where I do a similar exercise for another strategy, then check out this video right here. Every exercise teaches me something a little bit different, and hopefully this next video will do the same for you. I'll see you there.